This spreadsheet looked perfectly normal. For more than 10 years, a retired pensioner used it to track his recurring monthly expenses. The bills were almost identical. Everything seemed to be working perfectly until he noticed something strange about the total. When Jeff sent me this file, I thought it would be a quick fix, but it wasn't. The formula that looked obvious, actually it wasn't the right solution. The issue appeared on May 21st because it was when Jeff sent me his file. Jeff only wanted Excel to count expenses up to that day, date 21st. Instead, it was counting the entire month, including future bills he had already pre-entered, but not yet spent. He had entered day 22, day 23, and beyond at the start of the month. His non-recurring bills. Smart planning, but Excel didn't know those days hadn't happened yet. It just added everything. So the first attempt, the first formula I thought of, it was if function. If function, it could have been much easier if you are using one cell. But here we are summing up that one cells. It means we'll have to repeat this formula that one times. You see how hectic it will have been. By only changing the cells number. For example, our first cell was day 1, and day 1 cell is D6, and then the next formula it will be E7, the other formula F7, G7, H7, up to AH7. You can see up to here. AH7. You see, it could have been a hectic and a nightmare formula, because if you omit one character, if you make an error, the return will be an error, and it will be difficult to correct it. So that's why I excluded if formula. So to make our work easy, we only need one formula, not that one formulas. We only did one formula, and the one formula it could have been sum. If you add sum here, sum function. This is a one formula, but it has a condition. It's called an array condition or array function. This formula is automatic when you're using Excel 365 or Excel 2019. But from the previous Excel version, Excel 2016, 2013, going backwards, this formula, it has a condition. So it's not automatic. The condition, you have to key in some function on your keyboard for it to be automatic. So you'll have to, the array function is Control-Shift-Enter. That's when the formula will work. So again, this is not an automatic formula. Then because of that, I excluded this formula. That's the second formula I tried. At this point, I knew the formula wasn't the real issue, but the structure of the spreadsheet was the problem. So the next formula on the drawing board that I tried to incorporate was SUMIFS function. As you can see here on the formula tab, SUMIFS function. But again, this formula, it failed. this formula failed, but it will have been a good formula. It failed because the SUMIFS function, it needs a real date here. This is not a real date, these are just the numbers. You can see here from day 1 to 31st. It needs real date. So SUMIFS function can't tell the difference between the numbers number 22 and day 22, the date 22nd May. You see, SUMIFS function can't tell the difference between 1 and the date 1. So that's why I excluded this formula again. That's the third formula I tried, but all of them failed. There's one formula, one perfect formula that solve our query here, our problem. After the struggle finding an appropriate formula, something clicked. We don't need the dates to exist in the spreadsheet. We can build them inside the formula. And when I built the date inside the formula, everything worked. The total stopped at exactly today's date. Tomorrow when Jeff opened the file, it will include one more day. It doesn't have to change anything ever. As you can see the dates formula here. Date, it has 3 ingredients: the year, the month, and the date and the day. So C2 was the year, A1 was the month. Here there is number 6 here, but it's hidden. So 6, the month is 6. No, it's 5. Sorry, 5, because it's May. And the day starting from D5 here all the way to AH5. That's our date formula. Now we can compare each of those that one dates against today. We are comparing against today formula. Has this day already happened? If the answer is yes, we are returning 1. If the answer is no, the return will be 0. And then the formula continues. If the answer was yes, we are timesing 1. Amount times 1 included. We are timesing the amount by Jeff's actual amount. The actual amount they're here. But if the answer was no, it's 0. We are excluding it. This is the same logic as if function, but applied to all that one cells simultaneously. Now the complete formula to solve the problem, we're just including here SUMPRODUCT. SUMPRODUCT function. It adds up all the results together in one step. With this formula, it can calculate every step here simultaneously at once, at a go. See, now it's 0 because from date 1st to 21st, there was no entry here. But previously, you can see previously it was adding up to 107. 107, this is the amount. 107, it arose from here. Oh. 107. See, let me refresh. $107. So 80 plus 12 plus 15, it's 107. But remember, from the 21st to the 31st, this dates we haven't reached this date, so we don't have to account for these expenses. That's how we solve Jeff's issue. One formula, zero repetition, works in every version of Excel. Sum product. So I will use this formula across this column. Let me change these absolute numbers so that it can capture the whole column at a go. Date is the year is constant, month is constant, the dates. So I'll have to remove these absolute figures here. Now see the magic. Let me prove my working was correct. We are accounting for from date 1st to date 21st. Here we only have one expense, 50.9. We have 50.9. Total column was 74.75. We are getting that figure from here. Date first, it was 54.6 plus 20.1. It's amounting to 74.75. So that's the formula Jeff was looking for. The lesson isn't that sum product. One formula is always better. The lesson is that understanding your data structure comes first, and the right formula follows.